In today's education news, do not withdraw break time to punish poor behaviour, schools are told. This comes from a report from Raising the Nation Play Commission. It suggests that the DfE should discourage punitive withdrawal of school break times as a way of punishing poor behaviour. Pretty sure there isn't a single teacher watching this that hasn't once said during their teaching career that if you don't improve your behaviour, you will lose your break time. And I'll be completely honest with you, there has been rare occasions where I've had to keep a child behind to talk to them about their behaviour during break time. But does it happen very often? No. Why? Because that's also my break time. And yeah, I might say, carry on with that behaviour, you'll lose your break time, but it will always be followed with, but you can earn it back, because I realise that means I'm going to lose my break time as well, and that is precious to me. Now, this interim report also recommends that the DfE should ring-fence time for play throughout the school day, and that Ofsted should assess schools on provision of break time. Ofsted continue to prove that they shouldn't really be trusted to assess much in schools, so I'm not sure about that. But I'm also, where is this idea coming from? Like, we as teachers don't want to give children the time to play. If anything, ask any teacher, they would love to give children more time to play. The issue tends to be around money again. Funding to make sure there's provision there to ensure play can be done safely. Plus also, for a lot of schools, having the facilities to provide outdoor play for all of their children. Here's another finding from the report. It criticises the national curriculum, saying the narrow emphasis on rote learning and examinations has led many schools to view break time as nothing more than a loss of valuable teaching time. Again, you probably didn't need to do that report. You could have spoken to any teacher and they would just tell you that. Indirectly, the curriculum's narrow focus sends an implicit signal to schools that play is to be deprioritised. To me, this just seems like absolute common sense. I want children to have much more time to play. But ultimately, schools are judged. It's a stick to beat schools with getting them through this ridiculously packed curriculum. And Ofsted judge schools on that. So why then would you want Ofsted to assess schools on playtime? It contradicts itself there. It does recommend that the DfE should issue guidelines on how primary schools can and should employ play-based learning in the classroom. And oh my days, I can think of some people on Twitter that's going to really rile up. Other recommendations include opening school playgrounds for wider community use outside the school day, ensuring that breakfast and after school activities are predominantly play-based. Love that suggestion, think that's right, but again, it'll come down to funding to actually make that happen. This is where it's really interesting. Surveys carried out in 95, 2006, 2017, 2021 collected data on total break times in English schools. It found that modern day Key Stage 1 pupils had 23 minutes less break time a day on average compared to their counterparts in 1995. Break times fell by 18 minutes for Key Stage 2 pupils. At both primary and secondary levels, schools with children taking free school meals have shorter break time. There's a significant gap at secondary level between state and independent schools. As much as I love using technology and advocate its use in the right way in the classroom, I recognise that there are a vast amount of children who probably are spending too much time on screens outside of school and therefore not getting outside as much as they should be. So this is something I really want to address and want to improve. And I'd be really interested to know if there are any teachers who were teaching in 1995 and are still teaching now. Has that had a positive impact, that lack of break time? Has it meant that children's outcomes have improved? I don't think they have. If anything, I would predict it's probably had a more detrimental impact on children's learning. The report also recommends that all teachers and staff in school receive high quality play training to enable healthy and active break times and playful learning in classrooms, which I'm absolutely all for. But at the same time, I do think not everything has to be organised. I also think for a lot of children, they are just so busy, their schedules in and out of school are so packed that actually just having some free time, whether it be in school during break or outside of school, to just socialise, create their own games, have their own fun, is also really important. It suggests that the government in England should adopt a play sufficiency duty, which happens in both Wales and Scotland. So again, if you're a teacher in Wales and Scotland, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. They've made it a legal requirement for local authorities to ensure enough opportunities for children to play. Which again, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a primary school teacher who wouldn't want to do more of this. And so I want to make it clear, if there's any indication that this is something teachers are choosing to do, it's not. Most teachers, leaders in school would want more of this, and it's probably why you've seen a massive take-off with things like forest schools. And I just don't think this should ever be put forward like it's a choice that teachers are choosing not to give children the adequate play. If it's not happening in schools, that will be down to schools feeling ridiculous pressure to make sure they are getting through that bloated curriculum, because if they don't, they will get hammered by the likes of Ofsted. But as always, I'd love to know your thoughts. Should we be giving children more time for play? Do we need to embrace the transformative power of play? Do let me know in the comments.